The Arab Classic is now in the books. 9 countries, 21 games in just 4 days, all played at the brand new 6,500-seat Baseball United ballpark in Dubai. First time this stadium has ever been used. First time ever for an event like this in Dubai. First ever appearance for the UAE and Saudi Arabia national teams. Truly an historic event. The 9 countries were UAE and Saudi Arabia, as I just mentioned, Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Palestine, Afghanistan, and Nepal. Split into 2 groups. Group A, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and UAE. Group B, Sri Lanka, Saudi Arabia, Nepal, and Palestine. How did they manage to play 21 games in 4 days all in one ballpark? Well, 4-inning games, that's how. A great way to introduce the sport to this part of the world. Give them a little now and they'll be ready for the full 9 innings later. Give them 9 innings now and they might just get bored with it. In this video, I want to go over several things. First, a quick review of what happened from group play to the championship game. Then I'll comment on the quality of play, the ballpark, the crowd, the interest on social media, and what's ahead for the future. No nail biters on day 1. India 11-1 over Afghanistan. UAE over India 7-1. Pakistan over Bangladesh 10-0. Sri Lanka over Saudi Arabia 15-6. Palestine over Nepal 17-2. And Pakistan 10-3 over UAE. Day 2, Bangladesh 12-0 over Afghanistan. Saudis over Nepal 14-2. UAE 15-0 over Afghanistan. Pakistan 12-0 over India. And the first close game of the Classic, Palestine got past Sri Lanka 8-7. Day 3, Sri Lanka 10-0 over Nepal. Pakistan 17-3 over Afghanistan. UAE 9-2 over Bangladesh. Palestine beat the Saudis 12-2. And India took care of Bangladesh 9-1. Final standings, Group A, Pakistan finished 4-0, outscoring their opponents 49-6. They earned a first-round bye in the knockout stage. UAE 3-1 and India 2-2 grabbed the 2 spots in the quarterfinals. Bangladesh 1-3 and Afghanistan 0-4 were eliminated. Group B, Palestine was a perfect 3-0, earning the first-round bye. Sri Lanka 2-1 and Saudi Arabia 1-2 advanced to the quarterfinals. Nepal went home winless at 0-3. The knockout stage took place all in one day, so for the 4 teams in the quarterfinals, they would need to win 3 times in one day to win the gold. In the morning, the big country was sent home by the little country, Sri Lanka 1-0 over India, and the UAE had no problems with Saudi Arabia, winning 9-1. Semifinals in the afternoon, these were 7-inning games. Pakistan shut out Sri Lanka 3-0. UAE, in their first tournament ever, reached the championship with a 6-1 win over Palestine. The final game, a full 9-inning game in the evening, was easily won by Pakistan 12-1 for the first ever Arab Classic title. Pakistan finished the tournament a perfect 6-0. Hitter Mohammad Hussain was given the MVP. The play on the field was about what you'd expect. There were some fielding errors, some bad base running, the pitches were often slower than what we're used to seeing. If you went into this expecting them to play like the pros, you were left disappointed. But if you expected a sloppy, circus-like performance, you'd have been pleasantly surprised. Overall, the quality of play was good. Some teams were definitely more ready for this than others, though, and Pakistan was playing on a whole other level. We knew it already, but this was just further confirmation that Pakistan is the team to beat in that part of the world. The other 8 countries have got a lot of catching up to do. The Pakistanis were playing smarter, hitting better, running faster. They had pitchers who can throw real fastballs. A lot of potential for these individuals and for this team. Gotta mention Sri Lanka too, usually considered the second strongest in the region behind Pakistan, and judging by the play on the field, looked like the second best team in the Arab Classic, but suffered an upset in group play and that meant facing Pakistan in the semis, not in the championship game. The ballpark looks good, not a world-class stadium I wouldn't say, but it's good. Looks like a minor league ballpark in the US, like low or high single A park. Surface is very well done, bleachers are pretty standard, just the right size capacity for what they expect to draw once the league starts gaining interest. Crowd sizes were small but not bad, didn't expect sellout crowds. In each game you could see groups of spectators scattered throughout the stands, less than half usually. The night games were much better attended, no surprise considering the afternoon heat in Dubai. They even had a supposed sellout for the Pakistan-India game. Don't know what their criteria for a sellout was, there were a lot of empty seats. But anyway, most of the seats were full, it looked like, so that's good enough. Also, the full game on YouTube had over 20,000 views just a couple days after it took place. Seeing as it was a night game, I couldn't really tell what kind of people were there. At last year's exhibition series, the crowd looked like it was entirely made up of Western expats. From seeing the day games at this year's Arab Classic, we could see that the crowd was mostly Western expats, but we could also see a lot of South Asian or Middle Eastern looking people. I know they could be American too, but it's something I noticed more of with this crowd this time compared with last year's event. On social media too, posts from Baseball United on X had people from the region replying. Of course, there were comments like, "I didn't even know we had a baseball team," after Pakistan won the championship. But all the comments were positive, congratulating the team. Some saying it was their first time watching a baseball game. Always a great thing to hear. The chat on the live stream for the games on YouTube had people from the region commenting, most of it positive. Sounds like they didn't know much about baseball, little curious about it. That's exactly who you want to see on there, at this stage in the league's development anyway. People who've never seen baseball before and are interested enough to learn the basics, watch the game, and root for their country. Thinking back to last year's inaugural Baseball United draft, one of the biggest disappointments was seeing the live chat where the majority of the comments were in Japanese, and all the English comments were obviously from people in the Western Hemisphere. I kept looking for a comment from some local who wanted to know who all these players were, but I never saw any comments like that. None. So this time we've gone from something to nothing. It goes to show that in that part of the world, people are more likely to take an interest in watching their national teams, rather than professional clubs, when it's a sport they're not familiar with. Then that interest can slowly carry over to the Pro League. So it was a good idea to hold this event now, then debut the first 4 franchises in February, and the first regular season next fall. How much interest will carry over to those 2 events? Probably not much. So they need to continue with more national team events in the future. One complaint I've got, this was mentioned in the live chat by a few people, that the players for Saudi Arabia were obviously not Saudi Arabian. I know just because they look like they're not doesn't mean they're not. There have been 2 MLB players born in Saudi Arabia and neither one of them looks like it. If you're born in the country, you can play for the country. But when you've got a whole team full of players like that, it's just not a good look. Same thing Italy and Israel do in the WBC, only in this case it's more obvious and more silly looking. People were also criticizing the UAE team for the same thing, but if you look at pictures of Dubai Little League over the years, it's mostly children of Western expats, so I wouldn't expect their senior national team to look any different. Maybe it's the same thing in Saudi Arabia, I don't know. It just doesn't look right though. But I understand why they wanted a Saudi team here. One of the 5 teams for the inaugural season next year will be a team based in Saudi Arabia. Very important that a Saudi team was included here. Same reason UAE had its first ever national team put together in just the last few months. You want these 2 countries involved, playing against each other, maybe get a little rivalry going, get people in the countries rooting for their national team. Later they'll be more likely to become fans of a professional club. Besides, without Saudi and UAE teams, there wouldn't be any Middle Eastern countries, and this tournament would be no different from any West Asia Baseball Cup in past years. Anyway, that's all I got. What did you think about this tournament? Leave a comment and let us know. Anyway, that's all for this one. Until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya.